وعليكم السلام. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله الذي لا إله إلا هو على ما من به علينا من النعم الكثيرة الظاهرة والباطنة، وأشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له، وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله صلوات الله وسلامه عليه وعلى آله وأصحابه ومن تمسك بسنته بإحسان إلى يوم الدين. أما بعد. By the name of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, we praise Him, and all the praise belongs to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the one that there's none that has the right to be worshipped except Him, who's alone, without having any partners, who has bestowed upon us blessings in abundance, those blessings that are inward and outward. And I bear witness that none has the right to be worshipped other than Allah. He is alone without having any partners. And I bear witness that Muhammad ibn Abdullah, he is His servant and His messenger. May the peace and salutations of Allah be upon him and upon his family and upon all those who follow, upon his guidance into the establishment of the last day. To proceed, إخوان, فنواصل معكم وعليك السلام في هذه الليلة المباركة الكريمة عونا من الرحمن الرحيم. So we continue on this blessed and noble night of ours, seeking the aid and the assistance of our Lord, the most merciful and the most compassionate. مستفيدين متعلمين من علم العقيدة من علم العقيدة, as we continue to learn, deriving benefit from the science of al-Aqidah. من كتاب شيخ الإسلام محمد بن عبد الوهاب التميمي رحمه الله تعالى, as we continue to learn and derive benefit from the noble Imam Shaykh al-Islam in his time, Muhammad ibn Abdul Wahab, may Allah have mercy upon him. طيب, فانتهينا بالتوكل. I believe we finished placing one's reliance upon Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. نعم. طيب, فما هو التوكل يا إخوان؟ من يذكرنا بتعريف التوكل? Who can give us the meaning of توكل؟
والاعتماد على الله تعالى.
أحسنت. الاعتماد على الله تعالى كفاية وحسبا. Placing one's or depending upon Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala regarding that which, or being sufficed and sufficient, or being enough and sufficient, when a person places his reliance and dependence, or you can say trust, upon Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala.
With the explanation we finished al-isti'ana.
Al-isti'ana, shukran.
Yeah, we mentioned 5 points. I don't know if we finished it. 5 benefits. No, 5 different types.
5 different types of isti'ana.
Yeah.
We did 4 or 5? Our sister says 4, our brother says 5. So maybe we added 1. 5? Jamila. لا بأس. طيب, انتهينا بالاستعانة وتعلمنا أن الاستعانة يا إخوان طلب العون. طلب العون. And we mentioned that الاستعانة, it is to seek help, to seek aid. طلب العون, to seek aid or help. والأصل في الاستعانة أن يطلب العبد العون من الله. And the origin of isti'ana is that the person seeks help from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. He seeks help from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. No. طيب, فقلنا أن الاستعانة تنقسم إلى 4 أقسام. And we mentioned that isti'ana is of 4 categories. 4 categories. فما هو أحدهم? What was one of them يا إخوان?
Asking help from Allah.
الاستعانة من الله أو الاستعانة بالله, to seek help and aid from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala ولا غيره, to ask and seek help from Allah and Allah alone. وهذا هو الأصل, and that's the origin. يقول تعالى إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين, an ayah, Surah Al-Fatiha. As Allah Ta'ala, He says, إياك, you, O Allah, and you alone, نعبد, we worship. وإياك نستعين, and you, O Allah, alone, we seek aid. والمقصود هنا الأمور التي تختص بالله. And the intent here, you, O Allah, we seek help, and you, O Allah, we worship, and you, O Allah, we seek help. The origin here are those things that are specific for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Subhanahu wa ta'ala. وكذلك من ناحية اللغة العربية تعلمنا القاعدة تدل على الحصر. تفضل.
تقديم ما حقه تأخير يفيد
ما شاء الله, أحسنت, جميلا. And we learn from the Arabic language perspective, it's actually connected to Usool al-Fiqh also, that in this issue here, إِيَّاكَ نَعْبُدُ وَإِيَّاكَ نَسْتَعِينُ, it shows restriction. And as our brother he mentions, the principle is تَقْدِيمُ مَا حَقُّ تَأْخِيرُ يُفِيدُ الْحَصْرِ, to put forth first what is usually put forth last shows restriction. Shows restriction. وتعلمنا أيضا قاعدة ثانية تدل على الحصر. And we also learned another principle that shows restriction. في درس آخر, in another class, لا أظن أنه في أصول الثلاثة, I don't think it was in this class here, but another class, we learned another principle that shows restriction. Our sister remembers? أحسنتي. النفي أو الاستثناء بعد النفي, when you have an exception after a negation. When you have an exception after a negation. وقال العلماء أن هذا الأسلوب أقوى أسلوب الحصر والله أعلم. And the scholars of Islam, they mention that this way here, this style here, an exception coming after negation, is actually the strongest way to show restriction. نقول لا إله إلا الله. We say there's none that has the right to be worshipped إلا الله, except for Allah. أتينا بالاستثناء بعد النفي. We mentioned the exception after the negation. So to have a negation and then follow that negation with an exception is from the strongest ways of having or showing restriction. طيب, والثاني, second type of isti'ana. ما هو? Who remembers? Masik, تفضل.
Asking for the creation for help for the things that they can do.
أحسنت. Seeking help and aid from the creation على أمر يقدر عليه, regarding those things that creation can do. هذا جائز. That's allowed يا إخوان. عندنا حاجة فنمشي إلى خلق من مخلوقات الله تعالى في أمر يستطيع أن يقدر عليه. هذا جائز. It's allowed. You have a need, you have an issue, you go to a creation from the creations of Allah, and something that they have the ability to do, that creation can do, then this is allowed. And this is allowed. No. وثالثة, third point.
Asking the creation that's alive and present for help with something that they can't do.
MashaAllah. Asking something, the creation, but they don't have the ability to do that. هذا من أمر الغيب, from something that is unknown or unseen, then this is not allowed. قال بعض العلماء هذا الشرك. Some scholars say that's shirk. طيب, إذا العبد لا يعلم ذلك, لا يعلم الحكم, هل وقع في الشرك? If the person doesn't know that that's shirk, he doesn't know. Did he fall into shirk? He didn't know it. He doesn't know it's shirk. Did he still commit the sin? Messi says no. He didn't know it's shirk. He goes to the grave, مثلا, and he calls upon the grave. But he didn't know that that's shirk. Did he fall into shirk? Our brother says yes. He didn't know. Does his ignorance remove the ruling of the action? العلماء يختلفون. The scholars differ. الصحيح أنه وقع في الشرك لكن عذر بالجهل. The correct position is that yes, he fell into shirk. The action is the same, but he was ignorant, so he's not penalized. He didn't commit the sin. He fell into it, but he didn't know. الذي يحلف بغير الله هذا شرك. The one who swears by other than Allah. He says, I swear by my mother, I didn't do that. لكنه جهل. But he didn't know that that's haram to do. Did he do the haram? Yes. But is he penalized? Is he punished? No. He is, some scholars, they say, عُذِرَ بِي الْجَهْل. He's excused because he didn't know. Some scholars say he's not excused. They differ there. The correct opinion, Allah Alam, is that he didn't know, ya ikhwan. عَلَيْنَا بِالدَّعْوَ قَبْلَ أَن نَحْكُمْ. You have to call the person and teach the person first before you can rule upon him. But he fell into the action, but he's not sinful. Allah Alam. And Allah Ta'ala knows best. المرأة مثلا أسلمت جديدا. A woman becomes Muslim. She's a new Muslim. ولم تتعلم عليها أن تتحجب. But she never knew it's upon her to cover her body. فتخرج ذاهبة إلى عملها بدون حجاب بدون خمار مثلا بدون نقاب. فهل هي وقعت في الذنب? She didn't know. Nobody taught her, I have to cover my face, or from those that say you cover your face, I have to cover my hair and my body. She didn't know. She goes to work like that. She goes to school like that. Did she fall into a sin? But she's ignorant. What do you say? Did she commit a sin? She didn't know. Yeah. The answer is yes. But she's not sinful. She did the action, she didn't know. That's incorrect, but she's not penalized there. Because she has an excuse because she's ignorant.
So like every sin a Muslim commits and they don't know, it's not a sin for them?
It's a sin, but they could be forgiven or pardoned, rather, excused because of the ignorance. على حسب الفعل, but it depends on the action. إذا العبد مثلا عند في مسجده عند مدينته مثلا بلاده دروس ومدرسون علماء أئمة طلاب العلم ودروس منتشرة موجودة لكن هو لا يحضر. قال بعضهم لا عنده عذر لأن العلم موجود ويمكنه أن يأتي ولكن لم يأتي. قال بعضهم هذا. Some scholars, they say, for example, if the man in his masjid, his area, his city, his country, there are classes teaching Quran and Sunnah, he has his health, he has the ability to go, the classes are there, he has scholars and teachers, callers to Allah and His Messenger, but he doesn't go. Some say he's not excused for being ignorant because he chose not to go. The classes were there, the knowledge was there, but he didn't go. Others say no, he's excused because he didn't know. That appears to be the strongest opinion. But did he commit the sin? Yes, but he's not held for it because he didn't do nothing wrong technically because he didn't know, but he still did the sin. Wallahu alam. No. Our sister had a hand up? لا بأس. عندك شيء شيخ؟ لا. طيب نمشي يا إخوان. Let's continue. قال الاستعاذة بالأموات أو الأحياء غير الحاضرين القادرين على العون فهذا الشرك. He says another category, seeking help and aid from the deceased, those who are in their graves or the likes, or someone who's alive, present, but he doesn't have the ability to do this thing. This thing is only for Allah. And he goes to someone else to do so, then this is shirk. طيب. قال والاستغاثة. Next word of tonight, الاستغاثة. قال الاستغاثة هي طلب الغيث. الاستغاثة, you're going to write seeking الغيث. seeking الغيث أو الغوث. ألف لام غين واو ثاء. ألف لام غين واو ثاء. Seeking relief from a hardship or difficulty. a calamity. مثلا الغوث, seeking rescue, relief, aid from a شقة, from a difficulty, calamity. شدة أو هلاك, to seek الغوث, to seek relief, to seek support. No. قال والاستغاثة نوعان. Tonight's first benefit. الاستغاثة is of two types. الاستغاثة is of two types. أحدهما الاستغاثة بالله. First type, similar to الاستعانة, seeking الغوث, relief, aid, a rescue from Allah. From Allah. والثاني, second type, الاستغاثة بالأموات أو الأحياء غير الحاضرين القادرين على الإغاثة. فهذا هو كذلك الشرك. Second type, seeking ghosts, aid, relief from the dead, from the deceased, calling upon someone who has passed away, or someone that's alive but they're not present. You're calling upon my auntie, she's alive, but I'm calling up, oh my auntie, she's alive, لكن غير حاضر, but she's not present. Upon something that she can't do, you calling upon her is sinful, and what you're asking her is also sinful. This is shirk. This is a shirk. To call upon the deceased, هذا مطلق. That's absolutely no doubt about it, shirk. Also, الأحياء غير الحاضرين, هذا كذلك الشرك. Calling upon someone that's alive, but they're not present, that's also shirk. That's also shirk. قال الله تعالى إذ تستغيثون ربكم فاستجاب لكم أني ممدكم بألف من الملائكة مردفين. Surah Al-Anfal. As Allah Ta'ala, He says, and remember when you sought refuge or relief, rather rescue from your Lord, فاستجاب لكم, and He answered your call, He answered your supplication, saying أني ممدكم or ممدكم من الملائكة مردفين, saying I'm going to help you, I'm going to give you relief by supporting you with 1,000 angels at your side. Surah Al-Anfal. قال الشيخ الاستغاثة بالله. فائدة number 2. Benefit number 2. الاستغاثة بالله من أفضل الأعمال وأكملها. He says, seeking relief and rescue from Allah is from the best of actions. To call upon Allah, seeking Allah's ghawth, Allah's aid and rescue, support, is from the best of actions, ya ikhwan. الذي يدعو ربه سبحانه وتعالى يعترف أنه ماذا يحتاج إلى ربه فلذلك يدعوه. The one who calls upon Allah, he's acknowledging in the fact that he's calling upon Allah that he is in need of Allah. That he is in need of Allah. الذي يدعو ربه سبحانه وتعالى بالاستغاثة يعترف أن ربه سبحانه وتعالى قوي فلذلك يدعوه. The one who calls upon his Lord, asking for his help and his rescue, his istighatha, is acknowledging that Allah Ta'ala, his Lord, is powerful, is qawi. والذي يدعو ربه سبحانه وتعالى يعترف أن ربه يجيب الدعاء كما قال عن نفسه سبحانه وتعالى. The one who calls upon his Lord, while he's calling upon Allah, the fact that he's invoking Allah, he's acknowledging that his Lord answers supplications. His Lord, ماذا? Answers supplications. وهو يعترف بتوحيد الربوبية. The person that makes dua is acknowledging the oneness of his Lord's rububiyah, his Lord's lordship. فلذلك قال العلماء هذا من أفضل الأعمال. والمقصود هنا يا إخوان في العموم الدعاء. And then 10 here, when the scholars say the best of the actions, talking about any time you make dua. Al-istighatha is a type of dua. Not every dua is istighatha. Istighatha is a certain type of dua when you ask Allah for rescue, for relief, for help. To call upon Allah is from the best of actions. قال وقوله والذبح. And then he mentions and slaughtering. وقوله والذبح معروف. Slaughtering is known يا إخوانا بس. وقوله النظر. Next word of tonight. النظر. النظر. Making oaths. Promises. النظر. Oaths. He says النظر هو إلزام الإنسان نفسه. إلزام الإنسان نفسه بشيء. An oath, what is an oath? An oath is when the servant makes something binded upon himself. ما كان واجبا قبل هذا, it wasn't obligatory, لكن ألزمه على نفسه. He made it binding upon himself. So إلزام الإنسان نفسه بشيء. When the servant makes something obligatory upon him. It wasn't obligatory before. Now he makes an oath. Oh Allah, if you bless me with a new job, I'm going to fast for 3 months straight. ثم من الله تعالى عليه بهذا العمل الجديد. Then Allah blesses him with this new job. Now fasting for 3 months أصبح واجبا. أصبح واجبا becomes obligatory. So he made an oath, a covenant to Allah. If you give me this, I'll do that. وقال العلماء عدم النظر بالله سبحانه وتعالى تركه أولى. تركه أولى. وقال بعضهم أنه مكروه. The scholars of Islam, they mention, some of them mention, it's better not to make a covenant with Allah like that. It's better not to do so. Some scholars say that's actually hated to do. Oh Allah, if you give me this, I'll do that. It's better, just do it. Don't bind yourself with it. That way you can leave it off when you want to leave it off, and you cannot leave it off when you don't want to leave it off. If you make it obligatory upon yourself, oh Allah, if you bless me with a new car, ثم من الله تعالى عليه بسيارة جديدة جميلة, then Allah gives him a new, brand new, beautiful car. If you give me a new car, oh Allah, I'm going to stay up every night for 2 months, going over my Quran, going over the Hadith every night, and then I'll sleep after the Fajr. Then Allah gives him a new car. Now stand up every night for 2 months becomes obligatory. So it wasn't obligatory upon him. He made it obligatory. ألزمه على نفسه. He made it binding upon himself. So that's why the likes of this is better not to do. It's not obligatory in the origin. You made it obligatory. So it's better not to do that. You want to stay up all night? Just stay up all night. You want to sleep after Fajr? Sleep after Fajr. But it's not obligatory. You go to sleep, you didn't commit a sin. Follow.
Okay, and nazar is not good?
It's good, but it's better not to make an oath with Allah, like, oh Allah, if you do this, I'll do that. It's better not to make those type of nadar.
Oh.
Don't bind yourself with something that's not obligatory upon you. Oh Allah, if you give me this, if you allow it to rain tomorrow, oh Allah, give me an easy one. Oh Allah, if you allow me to pass the test in my university, I'm going to fast every Monday and Thursday for the rest of my life. Then Allah gives him 100, a 90. He passes. Now fasting Mondays and Thursdays becomes obligatory upon this person for the rest of his life. So it's better not to do that. If you're going to fast, If you're going to fast Mondays and Thursdays, just fast Mondays and Thursdays. It's sunnah, alhamdulillah. But don't bind yourself. Don't make a nadar. some scholars say it's better not to do that.
And if this person, for example, leaves off fasting one day.
He leaves it off. Now he leaves it off. He has to make the kafara, the expiation for that. Gets even more technical and detrimental upon him. For example, if he has a slave, he has to free a slave. He doesn't have a slave. If he can fast two consecutive months, he has to fast 2 consecutive months. So the issue is more difficult, ya ikhwan. Just for something that wasn't obligatory upon him to do in the first place. Wallahu alam. No. طيب. قال النظر هو الإلزام الإنسان نفسه بشيء ما أو طاعة لله تعالى غير واجبة في الأصل. He says, so the oath is when the person binds himself with something. He makes something binding upon himself. Something that was that's an obedience of Allah Ta'ala, but not obligatory in the origin. And then he made it obligatory upon himself. No.
Question. What if you say like, Wallahi, I swear by Allah, I will not do this anymore, and you end up doing it? Is that oath?
That wouldn't be an oath, that would be a halaf. A halaf is different than an oath. A halaf, he says, I swear by Allah, I'm not going to do that. That's still dangerous also. Because sometimes Allah tests the servants. Sometimes with our speech, يا إخوان. أحيانا نتكلم في الشخص ونعوذ بالله. ثم اختبر الله تعالى في نفس الشيء. Sometimes we talk about someone. Oh, that person did this and this and this. What usually happens after that? Allah tests you with the same thing you look down upon him with. For example, likewise I swear by Allah, I'm not going to do that. And we have to be careful with our speech, ya ikhwan. Al-malaikatu yaktubun. The angels, they write. ماذا نقول بألسنتنا. Those things that we say with our tongues. إلا أن نقول شيء بدون نية. أخطأنا باللسان. فالملائكة لا تقولون أو لا تكتبون مثل هذا والله أعلم. Except those things that we don't intend to say. You're speaking and your heart is not there. You just make a slip of the tongue. The angels don't write that. But if you have the niyyah, then that's when the angels write. أنت مثلا تنام وأحيانا تتكلم في النوم. أنا كذلك سمعت أنني أتكلم في النوم. والله أعلم. لا أصدق ذلك لكن قالوا لي هذا. Some people, they talk in their sleep. Some people say, my daughter says, Abby, you talk in your sleep. Yeah. I said, I don't believe you, but I'm not there. She says, no, you talk in your sleep. Sometimes my own wife, she's listening. Oh, let me see what you're going to say when you sleep. Oh, at any rate, I don't believe that you talk in your sleep, but some people say that. المهم, at any rate, إذا العبد يتكلم في النوم الملائكة لا تكتبون يا إخوان لأن هذا الكلام بدون نية بدون قصد. طيب. At any rate, you're in your sleep and you say some words. The angels don't write that because your heart is not there. Whatever you didn't intend to do, whatever you did by mistake, whatever your tongue just slipped up and said, or your sleep, or you're unconscious, the angels don't write that. The angels don't write. The pen is not recorded for the one. وجاء في الحديث, there's a hadith يا إخوان في الصحيح. قال النبي عليه الصلاة والسلام رفع الأقلام عن ثلاث, that the pen is lifted for 3. الصغير حتى يكون حتى يبلغ, the young child until he reaches the age of maturity. And ماذا النائم حتى يستيقظ, the one that is asleep until he awakes. والذي ذهب عقله حتى برئ, or كما قال النبي عليه الصلاة والسلام. And then the third one, the majnoon, the one that their mind is not there until he's cured, or as the Messenger ﷺ mentioned. So this shows that angels don't write in certain conditions. The child is not written for their good or their bad deeds. حتى يبلغ, when they become an adult, كل شيء فعله هذا الولد هذا الصبيان على صحيفته. Now the child becomes an adult. All the good that the child did now goes on the scale of that child. ويبدأ من وزان هذا الولد من حسنات ومن السيئات. And then when the child becomes an adult, now the scale begins. Now he's held accountable for his good deeds and his bad deeds. But the good that he did when he was a child, he becomes an adult, he gets the reward of all those. Wallahu alam. No. Anyone else have one? Masi and Dikashay?
What if they like become old and they like forget stuff?
That happens. Sometimes they're old, you forget. أنت نسيت شيء. فالذي ننساه يا إخوان من قدر الله تعالى علينا. هذا من مكتوب. علمه الله وكتبه الله وقدره الله وأشاءه الله. Whatever we all forget from time to time, myself included, ya ikhwan, that's decreed. It was destined for you to forget that. Allah Ta'ala knew you were going to forget. Allah Ta'ala wrote you were going to forget. Allah Ta'ala decreed you were going to forget. And Allah Ta'ala willed for you to forget. All that's from the qadr of Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala. So the person forgets. لا بأس. هذا عادي. That's natural يا إخوان. لكن علينا أن نراجع وعلينا أن نعمل بالعلم الذي عندنا. But we have to make muraja'a, we have to make review, and we have to work by what we have learned to the best of our ability يا إخوان. وعلينا كذلك بالدعوة. والدعوة والعلم كذلك ينشر أو يثبت العلم. Call into what you have learned, teaching the people, opening classes and the likes, makes the knowledge more firm. Making muraja'a sometimes is in your teaching, you're calling the people. This is one of the ways to make the knowledge firm, ya ikhwan, asking questions to each other. It's another way to make the knowledge firm. Also, al-aish bil-ilm, to work by, to live by your knowledge to the best of your ability. It's another way to make the knowledge firm. No. Wallahu alam. Wa kulluna nansa ya ikhwan ahyanan. All of us forget from time to time. حتى نبينا عليه الصلاة والسلام يرد عنه أنه نسي. Even the Messenger عليه الصلاة والسلام, it was narrated that he forgot. صلى النبي عليه الصلاة والسلام لعله نسي. Perhaps the Prophet of Allah forgot. قال أنه لم ينسي أو قالوا أنه ما نسيت لكن لعله نسي. One time in the Salah, والحديث في السنن عند الإمام أبي داود وغيره, collected by Imam Abu Dawud other than him, the Prophet صلى الظهر والعصر, صلى الظهر وصلى ركعتين, and the Prophet only prayed 2 raka'ah. وأبي بن كعب ذكره, and Ubay ibn Ka'b, he reminded him, وقال يا نبي الله هل قصرت الصلاة أو نسيت. And he said a statement of manners, mashallah, beautiful. He said, O Messenger of Allah, هل قصرت الصلاة, was the prayer made shortened or did you forget? The Prophet said, ما قصرت الصلاة ما نسيت. The Prophet said, the prayer was not made short, nor did I forget. He said, Ya Nabi, صليت ركعتين, you only prayed 2 rak'ah. And the Prophet gave us another principle. سأل من الحاضرين غيره هل كلامه صحيح وهذا من قواعد هذا الإسلام. Then the Prophet gave us another principle. He said to the others who were there, is what he's saying true? Did I pray 2 rak'ah? And the people say, yes, you prayed 2, O Messenger of Allah. So it shows that the Prophet, it shows he forgot, but he didn't recall that he forgot. And then he got another principle, a witness. That's another sunnah, ya ikhwan. Sometimes we forget that, to ascertain the truth. Sometimes we hear someone said, and someone said, and someone said, and we don't get a verification. Many narrations the Prophet of Allah is ascertaining, is that true? Did that happen? Like in this hadith here. ما قاله صحيح? He says, is what he's saying true? And they say yes. So later rak'atain. And then the Prophet stood up and prayed 2 rak'ah, and then prostrated twice. The sujood as-sahw, the prostration of forgetfulness. Alhamdulillah, may Allah Ta'ala teach us all, ya ikhwan. النسيان من قدر الله تعالى ومن سنة البشر. So forgetfulness or forgetting, ya ikhwan, is something that is from the decree of Allah. If you forget, we're all going to forget from time to time. And it's from the sunnah of mankind. If the Messenger of Allah can forget, then who are we, ya ikhwan? Then who are we? طيب نمشي يا إخوان, let's continue. قال والنذر نوعان. He says, and there are 2 types of oaths. There are 2 types of oaths. قال أحدهما, the first one, نذر مطلق, the general unrestricted vow. نذر مطلق, the general unrestricted vow, or you can say oath. نذر أو نذر مطلق كأن يقول علي صيام يوم لله وهذا النذر المحمود. the person says, for example, it's upon me to fast a day for the sake of Allah. He makes a covenant. I'm going to fast. It's upon me. It's on me to fast. Yawman lillah. A day for the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. He says this oath is praiseworthy. It's an action of obedience. There's no contingencies. If you do this, oh Allah, I'll do that. There's no contingencies there. والثاني, second type, نذر مقيد وهو المعلق بالشيء. The second type is specific. نذر مقيد is a restricted oath. And this one is معلق بالشيء. It's connected to something. The first one is general. It's mutlaq. It's not connected to anything. I'm going to fast a day for my Lord. There's no contingencies. Oh Allah, if you do this, I'll do that. No. كأن يقول إذا تزوجت لأصومن يوما وهذا النذر مذموم. He says, if you were to say, if the person says, if I get married, I'm going to fast a particular day. He makes a contingency here. So this one is هذا النذر مذموم. This one is hated, as we mentioned. The ones that have a contingency. Oh Allah, if I do this, or if you do that, if this happens to me, I'm going to do that. It's better not to do that. كما قال الشيخ هنا. This one is مذموم, is dispraised. If you're going to do it. But don't make a contingency. Oh Allah, if I get there safely, I'm going to pray the whole night. Tarawih, the whole night. If you allow me to get there, saliman, safely, protected, and then you get there safe, now you have to pray the whole night without going to sleep. So it's better not to make the type of oaths, muqayyad, those restricted oaths, or vows. You can also say a good translation. You can say oath, a vow. No. قال وقوله وغير ذلك من أنواع العبادة. Then the author continues, and other than that, from the various types of worship. فأنواع العبادة غير محصورة. So the types of worship, there's no number connected to them. There's no limit. There are many types of worship, يا إخوان. فيما ذكره المصنف رحمه الله تعالى بل هي أنواع كثيرة. He says, regarding what the Imam mentioned, but there are many types of worship. Many types of worship. من العبادة النية. From worship is having a good intention. Allahu Akbar. وقوله التي أمره الله بها. When the author says those things that Allah commanded with. أي التي أمرنا ربنا أن نتعبده بها. He says, meaning those aspects of worship that Allah commanded us to worship Him with. كلها لله. All of these are for Allah, meaning فلا يصلح منها شيء لغير الله لا ملك مقربة ولا نبي مرسلة فضلا عن غيرهما. He says, meaning it's not correct for a person to direct any form of these aspects of worship to other than Allah. Not an angel who was brought close, nor a prophet who was sent. So how much more so anyone besides them? If it's not proper to worship an angel or a prophet, how much more so anyone else besides an angel or the prophets? طيب. وقوله والدليل قوله تعالى. And the statement of Allah where He says, and the proof وأن المساجد لله. Where Allah Ta'ala says, and the masajid, they belong to Allah. طيب هذا مهم يا إخوان. That's important. أحيانا المسلمون ينسون هذا أن المساجد لله كما قال ربنا سبحانه وتعالى. Sometimes us the Muslims, we forget the masajid are for Allah. They belong to Allah. They have been erected and constructed for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And sometimes we forget that, يا إخوان. نحن نصلي فيها ونعبد الله تعالى فيها لكنها لله. لله كما قال تعالى. Yes, we worship Allah in them, we pray in them, we talk in them, we worship Allah in general in them, we hang out in the masajid, but the masajid themselves belong to Allah. And that's something that many of the Muslims we forgot or we forget. أنا كنت في مسجد وهم حاولوا أن يخرجوني منه أو منه لأنني لا أبدع شيخا الذي إمامهم كانوا يبدعه. I remember being in a masjid and the people tried to remove me from the masjid. I don't want to mention the name, that's not important, ya ikhwan. At any rate, and the issue was because there was a scholar that those brothers seemed to be an innovator, and I didn't agree. And the brother said, this is my masjid. It's my masjid. I said, this your masjid? Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. And I grabbed my stuff and I said, this is your masjid. This is not a masjid. This is your masjid. That's different. And I'm not coming to your masjid. At any rate, I didn't know it was your masjid. I wouldn't have wasted my time, my energy. I wouldn't have came here. I came here because I thought it was for Allah. At any rate, we almost got into blows. You'd be amazed, ikhwan, over the fact this one sees this one to be an innovator and this one does not agree. And all I asked him was, give me some proof. Give me some proof. I have to see I have to say it the way you're saying it. He said, well, this other sheikh said that. I said, and this sheikh said that. That game is never going to end. Whatever the issue, you could bring a sheikh to refute that. Whatever it is. Doesn't mean he's right or wrong. But you could bring a scholar to argue this. Some scholars say this is a sunnah. Other scholars say this is a sunnah. Some scholars say smoking is haram, which it is. Some scholars say it's hated. What else? Some scholars say wearing the niqab is recommended, which it appears to be. Some say it's obligatory. What else? My point is, whatever the issue, you can find someone who contradicts that. Whether he's right or wrong, you can bring that. Huh?
The beard?
The beard.
Like some say it's sunnah, some say it's obligatory.
Cutting the beard, removing it totally, they all say it's haram. Trimming it. Some say it's hated to trim it. Some say it's haram to trim it. And some that say it's allowed to trim it, used with Ibn Umar, الذي يروي عن ابن عمر, what has been narrated from Ibn Umar, that he had a nice beard. وفي أيام الحج, in the days of Hajj, أخذ لحيته, he took his beard, and whatever protruded forth, he would snip that. So they say that's the companion of the Messenger of Allah. It can't be haram. And they say, but what did the Messenger of Allah say? So some scholars say his action shows it's the karaha, it's hated. Other scholars say no, that was his action. If he's right, he gets a reward. If he gets two reward. If he's wrong, he still gets one reward. But you have the statement of the Messenger alayhi salatu salam. The mustache. Tayyib. Some say it's sunnah to remove the mustache completely. Others say it's sunnah to trim it. What else say, ikhwan? Having a man with long hair. I'll give you a good one. Some say it's hated for a man to have long hair. His hair comes down and he has braids or plaits. Some say it's a sunnah if that's how his hair is. They differ. Some say the imama is a sunnah. Some say it's from custom, tradition. What else? There are many, ikhwan. Some say having lines in the masjid is a bid'ah. Some say it's labat. It's allowed. My point is, Pictures is a good one. Taking pictures with a camera. Some say that's haram. The images of souls. Some say using your device to take a picture of someone or something that has a soul is haram. Other scholars say it's okay to do that. There's no sin there. That wasn't the intent of the statement of the Messenger alayhi salatu wasalam. Tayyib. What else?
For the Ibn Umar.
Ibn Umar.
Where does he get that from? The dalil.
See, that's the issue. Ibn Umar didn't mention where he got it. هذا موقوف عليه فعلا. The Tabi'i mentioned that that's what Ibn Umar did. He didn't say Ibn Umar did this and then he attributed that to the Messenger of Allah. That'll be mursal. They just mentioned his action. So if he would have said the Messenger of Allah, mashallah, no doubt about it. But since that's his action that he did, and other companions didn't do that, it's not like they all did that, that's something else. So either he got that from the Messenger of Allah والسلام, and it wasn't mentioned, or that's from his action and he understood it was allowed. But you have the statement of the Messenger والسلام, أُحْفُ اللِّحَى or أُحْفُ اللِّحَى من حديث ibn Umar in the Bukhari Muslim. Leave your beard, the Prophet said. Leave it. So some scholars, they say, the Prophet said, أُحْفُ اللِّحَى, leave it. Then you should leave it. I remember my cousin, my beloved cousin Abdul Hakim, asked me a question one time. His beard was beginning to grow, and he had like little spots, one spot here, one spot there, one spot there. So someone told him, no, if you cut it off, it's going to grow back thicker. Some people that do hair, they say that. That's true or not, Allah. If you shave it off, it's going to come back thicker. So he said, I only got a couple strands anyway. Suppose I take it away. It's going to come back thicker. What do you say? I said, the Prophet of Allah said, leave it. He said, I don't really got much I don't got much to do. The Prophet said, leave it. Leave it. Some people's beard grow in different spots. Sometimes it grows evenly. At any rate, I remember my beard first began to grow. I would take black seed oil and rub it on my face. Alhamdulillah. At any rate, everybody's different, ya ikhwan. I know many of the older brothers, they don't have no facial hair. MashaAllah. You guys are young. That's different. Some of the older brothers, when they get old, they have no facial hair. There's a hadith of Aisha, ikhwan, كانت من حكمتها. Aisha used to say, what did she used to say? أحمد الله الذي زينا وجوه الرجال باللحى. Or كما قالت عائشة رضي الله عنها. She used to say, all praise belongs to Allah who has beautified the face of the man with the beard. At any rate, some people used to say the man is not beautiful who cuts off his beard. They say you're not handsome. What do you mean? You cut your beard off.
When did you start growing a beard?
I became Muslim, ya ikhwan, my first year. I have a lot of stories. I keep telling you guys, one day we're going to have a story night. So when I became Muslim, I didn't at first know that I should let my beard grow. I didn't know that. My one companion, Ibrahim Fletcher, my first sheikh, the one every time I say his name, I make dua for him. He guided me by Allah's mercy. I used to be like a hayawan wahshi. I used to be like an animal. When I was a new Muslim, I didn't know yet. Nobody taught me the times of the prayer. I used to pray anytime I wanted to pray. I remember at my uncle's house, my father's brother, I spent the summer with him. MashaAllah. He had this big dog named Tasha. That was my buddy, Tasha. And she used to listen to me too. They thought I trained the dog. Well, I didn't train her, but she used to listen to me. At any rate, I didn't even know I couldn't play with the dog's mouth and all that until later on. At any rate, so we watching TV, and I didn't know that the Muslims, we have to pray at certain times. So what I would do, every time a commercial came on, I would just go upstairs and make wudu and pray. That's all I knew. So my uncle said, MashaAllah, I don't know much about Islam, but one thing I would say, you guys do pray a whole lot. He said, you prayed every 20 minutes for 3 hours. I never saw. And then I learned, no, there's certain times. So at first I used to cut my sideburns, and I would have like a little goatee. I would have that. I used to call me fake R. Kelly back in the day. So I would have my little goatee thingy. But I would trim my sideburns off. So one time I was in the bathroom getting ready for a basketball game. I had a game that night. And Ibrahim walked in and saw me shaving my hair and trimming up my goatee and stuff, my little mustache. So he was like, Naeem, la bas. So he's about to tell me something. So I'm Muslim now for maybe 3 days, 4 days. I just became Muslim. So I said, إذا عندك شيء فاخبرني. إذا أنا أخطئ في شيء عليك أن تبين. I said, no, if there's something I'm doing wrong, I'm a new Muslim. Tell me. It's okay. Whatever it is. I mean, I listen, but whatever, just tell me. So I can't give you a guarantee I'm going to listen to you, but tell me. So he said, it's better for you that you don't cut your sideburns. I used to just keep my goatee. He said, it's better. You're Muslim now? I said, yes, alhamdulillah. I'm Muslim. I got my paper. I'm Muslim. He said, what paper you keep talking about? Your paper. So at any rate, he said, it's better that you leave your beard. And he gave me the hadith of the Messenger of Allah. The Prophet of Allah said, the meaning of the hadith, let your beard grow. Leave your beard. And khaffif, and trim your mustache. So from that moment on, I would trim my mustache and I let my beard grow. And I remember some of my companions, because I had no hair. I used to cut my hair since high school. I always had a bald head since 10th grade. But now my beard is growing. So to my friends, I look funny. You know, I got no hair and I got a beard. Now my beard is coming. Yeah, I like little titty sideburns. Even my teachers would make jokes. Oh, Naeem, now you're Muslim. You can't have hair on your head. It looks like you took your hair off your head and put it on your face. I said, alhamdulillah. You know, at any rate, so I began to let my beard grow. It's one of the best good deeds you can do, ya ikhwan. Just leave your beard. You don't got to read no hadith, no ayat, no Arabic, no fiqh. Just don't touch it. So one time, may Allah forgive, I cut my beard all the way off by accident. I was trying to get ready. Always a basketball game. I'm always getting in trouble for a game. So I got a game coming up, and I'm trying to shape up my little sideburns, make them look nice. I'm trying to get underneath, and I was at my grandmother's house, and her bathroom was real little. And as I'm trying to shape up my line, make it nice, I'm trying my best to hold the mirror. I got a mirror here and a mirror here, and I'm trying to get my mustache nice. And my little brother came in and tried to scare me or something. And as I had the beard, he came in, ah! And I was, and I like made a hole in my sideburn. And I was like, oh, billah, what am I going to do? I tried to put the hair back on there, wait to stay. But I only had little sideburns. I was Muslim for maybe about 6 months, 8 months at that time. So I had little sideburns coming in. And I couldn't go to my game with a half of a sideburn. So I just cut my sideburns off. And then alhamdulillah, I grew back quicker, stronger. طيب, let's stop there, ikhwan. من يريد أن يؤذن? Who wants to call the adhan tonight, inshallah ta'ala? تفضل. May Allah bless you all, ya ikhwan. May Allah bless you. Huh?
Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar. Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar. Ashhadu an la ilaha illallah. أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله. أشهد أن